Hey everyone, Tim Higgins here. We're going to talk about this new application called Blaze Mobile Pro. Now, there are some applications that just come out that you just have to have. They're a true paradigm and they change how you do business. And this is one of those applications. I'm going to explain to you why this application is mandatory if you do any mobile device testing. First of all, we're going to talk about what is it. Second of all, we're going to talk about some of the benefits, and then we're going to walk through a demo. Now, when you think about mobile testing, right? You think about your iPhone, you think about your Android, your Windows app. In order for you to test that, you have to stand up an environment that matches, pretty close to matches what the developers are using just to test it in QA. Now that gets costly. And more importantly, it's always hard to run it in parallel. So let's say I have a mobile device and I have an iPhone device and I need to test the code for those in order for it to go into production. Well, in order to do that, I have to go stand up a VM or stand up a physical machine that matches all the SDKs and all the code tool sets that the developers are using just to run a test. And then, of course, as we all know, most tests are just temporary. So afterwards, it gets trashed. Now, time versus effort. How long did it take you to stand up the environment? Did you have to test the environment to make sure it was a valid environment? And what I mean by that was, how do I know that the iPhone that the developer was writing for is the iPhone that I can test with? Now, if I do that, I've got to download a different SDK or patches and all that cool jazz, right? So we're going to talk about why you no longer have to do that. With Blaze Mobile Pro, we're going to hopefully let you see the new paradigm that allows you to do these testings in just a couple of seconds. Now, with saying that, we're going to fly through this slide deck because I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of it, and then we're going to go do a demo. Now, first of all, in your testing, you want to create projects, right? It's just a way of tracking, right? So we think about a layer, we've got projects, and then we can set up our tests. Now, the tests can run individually within a project, or more importantly, you can put them in a suite, right? So we'd want to put our tests into a suite of tests. Car deployment in December suite, right? Whatever you want to name it. And then, of course, the idea is when I upload these files, I have binary files. If you see this picture right here, I have a set of binaries. Don't worry if you can't. We're gonna go to a demo. I can share those, and that's very important because they are some files that may or may not be consistent within the applications. More importantly, I can share those to rerun tests with different settings. Think about that, huh? Now, and of course, what good would a testing tool be if I can't schedule a test? Keep in mind, I can schedule these tests to run in parallel. In order for you to do that in a physical environment, I would have to set up 4 or 5 virtual machines, or at least a minimum of 2. Now, with saying that, of course, we have to have reporting, but to be honest with you, the reporting features of this really rock. You'll see that when we get there. Not only do I get the details, I get some extra features, and I'll show you when we get there. And when you think about adding your testing into your environment to QA, we also allow you to have integrations. We have integrations for Slack that allows you to talk back to your developers. Most developers like Slack, right? It's kind of a Skype type thing, but more for developers. That's the way we used to call it. And your business side of things. Let's shift things to the left by using something like, I don't know, Blazemeter CDD. Of course, we have integrations for that. Now, with saying that, let's jump into our test. Not test. Well, we could. Let's jump into our demo. Now, with saying that, let me just swap over here. This is our demo. I'm using a test. You'll see why when I get towards the end, but the production is really not that much difference. I'm going to log in or sign up. In this case, I'm just going to log in. If I can click the right button. There we go. Now, this is my test environment. I have some failed. I have some that have passed, and I have some that are kind of still running. Now, with saying that, we're going to jump right into what we were talking about and try to go down the list of what we showed in the slide deck. The first thing I'm going to do is create a project. So I'm going to click here. And I'm going to say, let's create a project. I'm not sure what today is. Thursday, maybe? Close enough. We'll say demo for another day. How's that? Be very professional here. Now, I think you can have spaces, but I'm an ex-developer. I don't like spaces, so I don't like them either. Well, technically you can't because here they are. And I did them before. Sorry, shame on me. Now, you could have a description. This is obviously something for something else, but I don't want a description. I'm just going to say create. And of course, your description will stay here. I'm a very bad person to demo after because you would not want to do it this way. You'd want to have a good, useful name for your project, and you wouldn't want to have descriptions. Now, if I click on this, I can add a test or a test suite. We'll come back to that. So what I want to do is I want to add the test. Now, I'll show you how simple this is. See this pretty blue button right here? I click it. Now, do you remember that environment that we said we have to set up? I can pick my device. In this case, I think I have an iOS 13.3. I'm not really a phone guy, so I'm not really sure. I know my son has the, let's see, is it here? Yes. He has the iPad. Well, you know, it was there too. My bad. Okay. And so let's say I want to test on an iPad. And we're going to call this, again, do not mimic Tim Higgins's naming convention, because I'm just going to call it iPad Air. Oops. If I can spell Air test. Okay. And again, you'd want a good description, so forth, so forth. Now, let's go ahead and add our files. So if I say upload, now I've set of binaries. I'm going to go in here. And what I mean by binary is this is your code, right? And these are some YAML files, your jar files. So we're going to say go. And we're going to see how long it takes. Bam, that quick, right? So I have uploaded the files. I have matched the environment. I've given it a name. Next step is I save. Okay, if you notice it's saving. And then once it's complete, it's saved, we have other options while it's still spinning. I can schedule a test, or I can just run the test directly. Probably should have named it a little bit better, and you'll see why. Oh, and the most important thing you missed was I can pick my project, okay? Now, it's tests can have a project, okay? Follow me here. Test can be part of a suite that has a project. So you always want to create your project first. Now, with seeing that, we talked about scheduling. I can add a scheduler, okay? But I'm not going to do that yet. We're just going to leave it as is. We've got it saved. We're good to go. What I'm going to do is create another one. So this is going to be another iPhone app. And we're just going to say this is 11 Pro. I'm going to upload my files. Now, this is very important. Test with existing scripts from a shared folder. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say, I want these two. Accept. Now look what this is doing. It copied over those files that are shared among projects. I didn't have to upload those again. Now I'll show you how to do that as well. So let's give it a really awesome name called iOS iPhone. Whoops. Let's try to stick with at least the proper naming convention. iPhone 11 Pro. Save. Okay. So now that one's saved. Now, again, I can run it or I can schedule it, but we're not going to do either right now. What I want to do is let's create one more. Why not? We're having fun here. So we're going to say, create test. This time we're going to do an Android. Now, I don't know much about Android, but I've heard the name Nexus, so we can do that. And instead of, I can do the share, which I do have Android things out there, but we'll show you how to create that shortly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just upload these, just because you've seen it before. Let's click here, and just upload these. Okay, and be patient. Patience over. We're good. And we're going to say save. Oh, we didn't give it a good name. All right, so we need to rename it once it's done saving. Then we'll save it. But the truth is, for my test, I don't really care. This name's perfectly fine. So let's let it finish. Just remember that this one's the Android. All right, now we're going to go over here to our test suites. What I'm going to do, really hard, the other blue button, right? Not this one, this one. We didn't click it. And we're going to say Tim's new tests for the day. What a name, right? All right, might as well put a period on that. So now what I can do is hit save because I'm saving the name, but I could go ahead and select the test before I click save, but it was done. So what we're going to do is try to find the ones that I just created. We're going to say this one. We'll say this one. Obviously, I had a great name in there, huh? And then iPad. Oh, well, I guess that one's right. Okay, so we'll stick with those three. I think those three we just did, and hit save. Now they're part of our suite. So you're asking, Tim, what can I do with this? And more importantly, there's a couple things. Number one, you can save this for later. These are 3 tests I can run again and again and again. I can change the files, run them again. So what we can do is add a schedule. So I want this one to run. Nope, let's get rid of this. I want it to run every Monday and every Friday. And I want to run it, 12 a.m. is fine. Or I can choose monthly, right? I want it to run on this month, that month, month. But we're just going to do it this way. And I want it to test at 1 a.m. Okay. Now, if I hit save, it went back to Monday, Friday, but we'd have to click here. Sorry, you have to uncheck this one, then check this one. And then we want it to run Monday and Thursday. How's that? Now, if I hit save, it's now created a schedule for us. Good to go. Now, I'm going to turn this off because, and of course, as you can see, I can disable this or turn it on. Let's just turn it off for now because I will forget. I'll be done with this presentation, and then we'll have these tasks constantly running, right? So I don't want that just for a demo. But the other thing I can do, too, is see this run test suites. I can just run all these tests at the same time. Now they're running. Well, they will in a few seconds, but they will be running. The other thing, too, is I can go back over here. And remember the 3 that we have down here? Just a simple test. So we have our test suite. It's right here. Okay. And is this the right one? No, it's this one. I'm sorry. That scared me for a second because I had to say the pretty blue line. My great naming convention. Oh, and then it kicked off because now they're beginning to run. So if I go back over to tests and we click on this one, we can see it's running. And if we go up to this one, it's running. Again, my great naming convention. And the other one's kicking off too. That's why it keeps bouncing me back to this screen to tell me that they're running. Now they're running what? In parallel. How cool is that? And I don't have to do anything. How many environments do we stand up? None. How hard was it to upload those files? Pretty simple. How hard was it to pick my device? Very simple. And then just click go. The other thing I want to show you real quick is we talked about the shared folders. I can click here and I can create my shared folder. We'll call it, let's delete this one, Tim. That way I'll remember to delete that one. It's creating the folder. Okay, now since our folder's created, we can click delete. Now you can drag and drop these files. So we'll add this one. And for kicks and giggles, just to prove that I can, I'm going to drag one over. Let's see, what did we upload? That was, well, not sure if that was iOS, but it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is I have my files right here. I'm going to grab this one and just drag and drop it. And now what this is doing is this is creating my shared folders. If I go back here, now you can access those anywhere through the system that you need to add those files and you don't want to upload those again. Now, just to finish this off, what we've got personal settings, my first name, last name, password. If you have the rights, you'll be able to add people to your account. This is also my billing. Make the wife happy here. And then if we go to integrations, this is where we can do the webhooks that we talked about for Slack. I'll do another video for that one. And then we also have our share folders, as we said. You have a quick tour that can actually walk you through. Oops, maybe I shouldn't hit skip. But we can do a quick tour that can actually move us around to each item so we know what they are. How cool is that? Then that's pretty much it. So with saying that, what we have shown is actually Blaze Mobile Pro. And like I said, with Blaze Mobile Pro, it is very, well, I apologize. There is one more thing I'm missing, and that's the reason I was kind of thrown a little bit. So let's open up another one really quick because I talked about it. Let's just prove that it exists. But on this one, I've got to go to production. In production, I'll log in. And over here, the reason I'm doing production is because in test, it's not really charging me that much. It's kind of a secret because it's test. But now in production, it will charge me. So when I go over here now, I have what's called API keys. This is how I would integrate with CDD. All right, so now that we've covered all that, and just to prove a point, I can do another video on this one, but if I go to count on this one, apologize about that. If I go to count on this one, I can actually send an invite to another email to join and be a part of this team. All right, so saying that, we covered a lot more. We covered everything in the Power Deck, but hopefully more importantly, I introduced you. Oh, you know what we did do is reports. So Blaze Mobile Report, let's go here, test summary. Here's a list of everything that's kind of running, kind of failed, things that are running, notice it says running. Here's the cool feature. Remember I told you there's some secrets? If I click here, I am now in Blaze Meter. Now that is super sharp. And then if I go into here, let's go look a little bit detailed, show all reports. Now, if I click on one of these, that one's running. Let's find one that's not running. Good luck with that one, Tim, with your naming conventions. Give it a second. This was 423. I have no idea what today is. Oh, today's 423. All right. Well, this one failed. Great. Let's see if we can get some information from it. Look at that. Another secret. If I click on it, I automatically get the screenshots. Now, how cool is that? Now, with saying that, I can also click on logs. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not really care about this code. It's just for demo. But here I have some binary logs, which means they're just raw logs. I can go through here, see what's going on. I can pick this one and scroll through, see what's going on. Click on summary and say, hey, Tim, this failed. Let's go figure out what. And look at this button. What does this one do? So if I click here, look at that. Back in Blaze Meter. How cool is that? But with saying that, I can see my device, start time, duration, location, Atlanta, end time, which is funny because I live in Tennessee. Now, with saying that, I can give this a label, I can save it, I can send it to my developers, I can do all that cool jazz. But more importantly, if I could bounce through here quickly, which I'm not sure I can, these are a suite that's running. Notice that everything passed besides this one. And again, this is one we expect to fail. Not a big deal. But when I click on this, notice my device now is an iPad Pro. Ain't that smooth? I'm not sure if I should hit my back button that way, but we're going to anyway, or I could just click on it over here. Because what I'd want to do is iPhone 11 Pro. Think about it. We set up all these little fake cell phones for you to do your testing, and you did absolutely nothing. How cool is that? So with saying that, that is extremely why you need Blaze Mobile Pro to help you get through all your testing, get them done quickly, without having to do all the headache and all the cumbersome work of setting up these fake cell phones just to do testing. Hope that helped, and hope we hear from you soon.